This game was played between Magnus Carlsen and Wang Hao in Rapid Chess Championship 2019. And this game is played so perfectly that there is not a single, I think, accuracy in it. Wang Hao Sentipan lose was only 5 and Magnus was 7. No mistakes, no blunders, no inaccuracies. I'm just going to explain the ideas behind the moves being played in the game, and there is nothing wrong with the moves played in the game. I would just explain the ideas why those moves were played. This game was played in London system, and we will go through uh, the opening phase quickly. And the people who like to play London system and who want to play against it, this is a very great game for them. d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, bishop f4, start of the London system, e6, e3, bishop d6, knight bd2, bishop into f4. Actually, this is the concept in the in this line of London system, that when the black bishop would take this white bishop on f4 and you take it with pawn, then this is the best outpost for your knight on e5. After that, you might bring your this knight f3. So game continued, bishop into f4, e into f4, and castled. Bishop d3, developing the piece. d6, hitting this pawn over here on f4, and g3. I think white bishop is blocked between these pawn chain, and obviously Magnus Carlsen understands that if black had to develop the bishop, he would have to develop the bishop on these squares, on b7 or on a6, or he might exchange it. So he made the move g3, strengthening this structure on white side. After that, b6 obviously has made the move b6 to develop his bishop whether on b7 or a6, exchanging it. Queen e2 and a5 was played. The concept of playing a5 was that when Wang Hao tries to exchange this bishop, it will be protected by two pieces, by the knight over here on b8 and rook on a8. a4, stopping this future break of black side, black b4 pawns, and this c5. c5 still, c5 is played, and c3, strengthening the structure pawn chain. Saying if you would want to exchange, then it would be in white's favor at present. But if you further develops this pawn c4, then I am going to back my bishop over to c2 or b1, and I would bring my queen to over here. One of the ideas. So bishop a6, bishop into bishop, exchanging the bishops, and knight into a6, and castle was played. And this is, I think, a very complicated position where this is the best topic to understand that what is positional maneuvering, what is the best placement of your best pieces in a position. Now you may think that what is the problem with the black's position over here. it is going to be developed. Rook on f8, rook on a8 is also going to develop in one move. Knight on f6 is guarding this square on e4, doing a good job. As queen is also a better square, you can move to c6 or to this back rank whenever it wants. The only issue with this knight over here. And now I would like you people to pause the video and think that what is the best care for this knight. Let me see that if you can judge the move which Wang Hao played, and that was the best move. Okay, you might have paused the video and judged the move, and if you have judged the move correctly, then I would say that you are 2700 rated player. Here, Wang Hao played the move knight b8. For him, this knight is not good over here or here on knight c7. That is, it is doing nothing. Its both squares are covered. So he said to himself that his knight should be better and where it should be. So he moved this knight to knight b8, and as per him, the best move for the place for the knight is after white plays knight e5 is knight c6. The reason for this knight c6 moves was that whenever black takes this pawn on d4 and c takes into d4, this black knight could move to d4 square. And here it is just hitting nothing. Everything is in his way. So Wang Hao played knight c6, knight df3, strengthening this knight on e5 square. Rook ac8. Wang Hao is planning to open this file. Rook fe1, strengthening this file. And Magnus Carlsen is saying that if we want to open this file, okay. After this, I am going to open this by playing the move f5. Knight e4 was played and rook e d1, bringing the rook here. The reason for this is that if black takes with it, with the pawn, white wants to take it with the rook and kept the position closed of these pawns over here. So after queen c7, queen was moved here because it is in the rook's file. And secondly, Wang Hao is, this maneuver is where Wang Hao was very beautiful one, that he at this position he thought that this white queen may enter the black strategy to a6 square. So he moved his queen to c7, then he is going to move this queen to b7 over. And the second prospectus is that whenever I would take this pawn, this will be opened, this square. And when his queen would be here, then he could move this pawn to here on d5 to open up the queen c7 was played, king g2, c into d4. Now Wang Hao at last takes the pawn, knight into d4 and knight into d4. At this, the knight was doing nothing over here, and this knight is very good. So black exchanges his weaker knight with the best knight. Black exchanges his weaker knight with the best knight of white on d4 square. Knight into d4 and rook into d4. Now you see that why Magnus played the move rook a1 to d1. The reason was, just a moment please. I'm really very sorry. I'm really very sorry. I'm really very sorry for the inconvenience. I got the call within the game for that. So here, black played knight d6, and Magnus responded with h4, touching this side and hopping to gate a square on h2 for his king. Queen b7 was played. Same reason when the queen was moved to c7 and to b7 is that to stop this entrance of white's queen on a6, and also trying to create problems for Magnus Carlsen by playing the rook to b8. King h2, rook b8 was played, same, and b3 was played. And this move Magnus Carlsen played after around about 3 minutes thought in the game. The reason behind this move was that he wants to stop this knight coming over here. And this move by black, b5 move, generates nothing for black actually. This is better for white said that his rook will immediately come to b1, and if the black moves the pawn over here, then white is going to take it. So in the game, queen c7 was played, c4 was played, and this move was played by Magnus Carlsen after 2 minutes thought. It was a rapid game actually. And after this move, the reason behind this move was that to bring this pawn of c3 out of the harm's way to this c4 square. And if black takes it, then it is better for white because he is going to take it with the pawn, which happened actually in the game. Actually, all the moves of this game are perfect. There is nothing you could say that this move was loose and this move was loose, this move was better. Both players played the perfect game. So here, knight f5 was played, cutting this rook on d4, and rook d3 was played over here. After this, d into c4 was played and b into c4 was played, and rook d8, trying to exchange the rooks, one of the rooks over here, trying to exchange the rooks over here on d3. After rook d1, doubling the rooks on e5, rook into d3 was played and queen into d3. Now we have properly reached into the middle game, sorry, the end game. We have properly reached in that, and here white played the move f6, and this is a very disturbing move. Here Magnus Carlsen gave the thought of 5 minutes to his next move, and he played the best move in this position, and that was knight to g4. because is going to maneuver this knight to g4 and then to e3, protecting this pawn on c4 over here. Then rook c8, hitting this pawn twice on c4. This is one of the I would say third critical position over here. That after the move knight e3, it is already protecting this pawn on c4. Black played the move queen to c5. This is really a critical position that black is saying that I am going to pick up this pawn after taking on this knight, or I'm going to move this queen to over here and I'm going to pick this pawn. In that instance, white would try to pick this pawn over here. And here knight into f5 was played. After e into f5, white played the move queen e2. I am giving you just 10 seconds that why you can't take this pawn over here. This is a little puzzle actually for the people. The advanced players may have understood it immediately. For the weaker players, it is just a little small puzzle for them. Okay. The reason behind it is if black plays the move queen into pawn, then rook check on d8 is the queen over here. Because after the rook takes, queen is the queen. So after queen e2, going to give the check over here and protecting this pawn over here indirectly. Black is going to take this pawn. Queen c6 was played, and this was a very cunning move by Wang Hao. Now, Wang Hao is saying that I am going to take this pawn. And here Magnus made a marvelous move, and that was rook d5. After that, before taking this pawn on a4, Black had to make this room for his king on h6. And this is what he did. He played the move h6, and after that, queen d3 was played. Going to say that I am going to give check and going to exchange the queens. And here Wang Hao at last took the pawn on a4. And after that, rook d7 was played. This is the type of the game world champion plays. See, he's building the pressure here and he's continuously building problems for his opponent. Although Wang Hao is now a pawn up and he has a passed pawn, but still he is under pressure. Here king h8 was played. The king h8 was to avoid the check over here, because with the check queen will immediately come to here and black will not be fast enough to take here or do something. So rook d6 was played by white and queen b4 was played, hitting this square e1 and hitting the rook, that if you move the queen I am going to take. I was protecting this pawn on b6. Queen d5 was played and queen e1, hitting this pawn on f2. King g2, protecting the pawn on f2, and queen e4 check. Here actually both players had 2 minutes roundabout on their clocks, and Wang Hao thought that it would be better to exchange the queens, and he might then fight for the winning position. After into e4, f into e4 was played, and king took to b6, rook into c4, and this is the game, or this is the position, which is very instructive one. That black has a pawn, passed pawn over here, and he has a pawn on e4, which is restricting the movement of king to this square. But still, this position is a draw. And why is this position draw? Because you can't win this pawn. Sorry, you can't promote this pawn to queen. The reason behind that is that, which Magnus Carlsen showed is in a game here, rook to b5. First, asking why black to move this pawn to here, to a4. Then rook b8 check, king h7, and h5, restricting this king. See, this is the move. He's saying that if you will move this pawn over here, I'm going to give you continuously checks like this. Magnus Carlsen. This is one way of drawing this. You can see he restricted the king movement from coming out. This type of the moves, endgame study is a very great thing. Every person should do to improve his game. After that, rook c2 was played, pinning this pawn on f2. Rook e8 was played, hitting this pawn. Now remember, as per the rule, three pawns on the same side are four pawns on the same side. If this pawn falls on f2, it's a draw. And Magnus Carlsen is extremely good player and good end game player, and it is not difficult for him to draw this. So in this situation, Wang Hao tried muddy the waters by protecting this pawn, but it was in vain. Rook a2, king f1, out of the way of this pin which was coming. g5 was played. A try. What could you say? To further muddy the waters, or to try to make it. After rook a7 check, king g8. Now king can't do anything over here on this game. He can't come over here because it is protected by the rook. Black king can't come out of this prism. This prism. So f into g5, h into g5, and g4. Turning this pawn and saying that you can't play this pawn on f5, restricting it from doubling the black's pawns, restricting black from doubling his pawns. Sorry, but would say doubling, not doubling, would be say that uh, combining his pawns movements. Rook a3 was played, king e2, and after here, around about, Wang Hao gave a thought of 2.5 minutes and tried another variation, but it was also in vain. And rook f3, rook into a4, and rook f4, and still it's a draw. The reason behind it is after king e3 and black takes this pawn, nothing happens. This white is going to take this rook, and the exchange would come immediately. If the rook will go here, black rook will go here. For example, we take this pawn, rook take this pawn. And blacking is far. After that, Magnus might play this move after the exchange. So in the game, after rook f3 check, rook f4 was played, king e3, rook f3 check, and here both players agree to a draw. These types of perfect games, perfect draws, makes you understand that what a positional maneuvering is and what is solid play. You can see how solid Wang Hao played, that he didn't give any type of chances to Magnus Carlsen for any type of advantage. So if you like my video, kindly subscribe, hit the bell icon button. Thank you very much.